And we're live. Alright. Copy the link. Alright, boom. Alright. I feel like we was having a cool conversation earlier though, when we was talking about like all the mysterious things that happened in terms of what came together to put the film together.
Yeah. Again, like I was telling you know, sitting down with my editor. And like I said, he has this amazing editing system. And the fact that we were having like so many troubles and problems, you know, like laying footage from the shot. I just thought it was interesting because I was telling him about a story that happened when I was even writing the story. Mm-hmm. And I would like lay all the documents and the research that I found on the floor. And then one day I'm just sitting at my table writing, because again, I hand wrote the script when I initially wrote the script. And I'm sitting at the table writing, and then all my research is on the floor starts to spiral, like in a, you know, just a whirlwind. And then it all placed back where it was. I kid you not, and it messed me up. So, you know, early when you were trying to get the system up and running, and we were running into an issue that you said never happened before, but of course it happens on the day we talk about the shot. Again, I think I've added to the list, just like I said, these mysterious acts, and just, you know, they can't be explained, so I only try to explain them. So, yeah.
Okay, so I feel like we got to give them the context. Right. What is the shot?
The shot is the story of the South African photographer. His name was Joseph Lowe. He captured one of the most iconic photos of American history, which is the Dr. King's assassination photo. So it's a famous photo, you know, if you know history, or you only have to know history, Black History Month, if you know Martin Luther King, if you just know American history, or just know of the culture. There's a famous photo where King's entourage is pointing. The King has just been struck by a bullet, and it was a famous photo, and it's shown all the time. And it was a South African that captured that photo. You know, a lot of people think it was a editorial that caught that photo, but it was this young, humble, underdog fella from South Africa who captured this photo. So that's technically what the story of the shot is. You know, we tell King's assassination through the perspective and the story of this unknown character from South Africa.
So how did he make it from South Africa to here?
I mean, you know, that's a great question. Even the origin of how he made it, you know, to come all the way from, you know, continent Africa all the way over to America to work with, you know, I couldn't figure like Dr. King is interesting in itself, because before he even got the opportunity to do so, he would get arrested because he was in a relationship with a white woman. And this is during the apartheid times where, you know, same over here, segregation was huge. It was huge over there as well. You know, blacks were not allowed to mingle with whites. And because he was in that whole relationship with a white woman, he was sentenced to jail. You know, she didn't have to do no jail time, you know. Fortunate enough for her, it was privileged, and family just like, nah, they got her out of there. But Joseph had that same resources or that same faith, so he ended up having to do jail time, and so that's what happened. But you know, when he got out of jail, he ended up getting the opportunity to come and work at PBS, Public Broadcasting, over in the States, and from there they gave him, you know, a project, the Poor People's Campaign, to go like document Dr. King's Poor People Campaign with Dr. King. And of course, people are always like, dang, how crazy is that, you know, this random guy gets to come up to South Africa and work with Dr. King. But little do people, or what I try to get people to understand is, when this time Dr. King wasn't the way he is today. The man that we know him to have his name on every street and a holiday and celebrated and glorified the way he is. He was a person. He was just another person, you know, a day-to-day guy trying to make it. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Literally. Yeah, he was technically like, you know, a menace to society that some people try to claim him, like the government and, you know, enemy number one, you know, so public enemy number one type of situation. So, so yeah, that's how Joseph ended up linking with Dr. King, PBS. You know, so if you know PBS, you know PBS. All my favorite, you know, shows growing up as a kid, Arthur. Wishbone, Barney.
Yes, PBS, everything.
PBS brought some solid shows, so yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so my next question from there is, I think it's very monumental because most of the time, think about like job applications and stuff like that. Most of the time, you don't get out of jail or get such a big position.
Of course.
You know, so it's just like, what about his photography really moved PBS to select him over all the people in America? Like, you know, it's just like, what made it so impactful that led him to take that journey? Like, that's literally like, you know, the diaspora all over again. You know?
For sure, yeah. I never thought about, you know, how he got chosen to go work with Dr. King. Of course, there's so very little information on Joseph. Like, you know, I literally took everything that I learned from him through the public domain and added to the project, but I also took it a step further, and I went over to South Africa and I linked it with his Jacob Lowe. So shout out to Jacob, his his offspring's his son, and Jacob would show me personal photos of, you know, what his dad is taking. And, you know, looking through Joseph's photos, I mean, he just made pictures dance, you know, through photography. Like, you just, how he looks through that lens, it is something special. So I'm sure that the people from PBS saw that as well and was like, you know what, you know, you go work with the Negro team and you go capture that, and we sure we can use some of these photos, you know, later for our display and our marketing for the campaign. So, you know, again, wasn't really sitting there with PBS when they decided to pick him, or don't know too much about why they picked him, but from my experiences and seeing his photo collection with my own very eyes and just some of the stuff he's taken, again, like I said, very vibrant pictures, the way he angles, the meaning behind his pictures, I can see chosen for sure.
So, how old is Joseph, if you don't mind me asking?
Currently?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I mean, I can't think of it off the top of my head how old he is, but he's currently not with us. So he passed in the early 2000s. So he passed away in the early 2000s. So his offspring, Jacob, is kind of to his.
How old is Jacob?
Jacob. Oh, okay. You know, Jacob, 45, 40.
Got you.
In his mid-40s, for sure. That's my guy. Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Jacob and the whole family, my niece and nephew. Again, what I love about over in South Africa when going to visit them, you know, the kids refer to like the family friends or even the family's family as uncle and auntie. So when I was over there, I never forget, you know, I'm in the living room with them, and his wife was like, well, you know, it's okay if they call you uncle, because that's how they refer, like, family, everybody family. And I'm like, for sure, like, you know, because when I'm from in Atlanta, you know, I'm from Boulevard 44 in Atlanta, Georgia, we call, like, you know, aunties and uncles. It's crazy. Yeah. Like, what's up, unc? What's up, T? Yeah. So, you know, where I'm from, so it's like, I thought it was interesting that that's the same notion over in South Africa, you know, the same culture. And I wondered, like, was that just something that's brought over? Because, you know, we were brought over from, you know, the motherland. You know, majority of African Americans were brought over from the motherland. So, you know.
I would say on that, I feel like we're kind of losing that sense now of the family sense. Like, for example, my grandparents moved up from Richmond, and it was like they had boarders. Like, they had people that would come out and, you know, just stay with them and live with them.
For sure.
So I feel like it was more so a family dynamic in the past, where it was like everybody was family.
Yeah, everybody was family.
You need something, I got you, you know. And now it's like we're so in arms and all for ourselves. It's just like, dang, like, you know. So it's hard to find those people who are really collaborative and those people who really see the family dynamic and stuff like that. All right, but back to the shot.
No, I think that's good. That's a great point.
Yeah.
So I try to keep that alive. You know, I still try to embrace my sisters.
Absolutely.
My brothers, my aunts, my uncles, my dads and mothers, and, you know, and not just my family, but my worldly family, my community family. So I think I agree with you. It's something that we do need to hold on to, because as we all know, it takes a village for anything to go. You know?
Absolutely. And it's so funny because it's like, even that's a full circle moment.
Yeah.
Like, you know, even for us working together, even for my work with the Daily and stuff like that, all the things that I've been building and all the things that you've been building have been so collaborative, you know? And yes, and it's so hard to find that these days, to find real organizations that are building based on how you are and essentially how you are connecting with the community. So like one thing we're working on at the Daily is creating the creator program. And a lot of people don't understand what it is, but it's like the creator program is essentially we're building you a team. Like there are so many individual creators who are getting nickeled and dimed out there when it comes to creating their content and creating their films and, you know, really getting their messages out. So being able to really make that impactful and being able to connect that with a whole team of PR, strategies, different things like that, like that's going to allow them at the end of the day to be able to pipeline their things into bigger. And that's what these larger organizations that are grandfathered in from, you know, years and years down the line, like that's what they want to keep us out of.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like being able to have these full circle moments, be able to talk about the shot and talk about Dr. King and how essentially he came all the way from South Africa and really took his vision and was able to turn that into such an iconic photo as the shot. It's just like, and then even for you to take that vision and then turn it into it and being able to meet his family and do connect the dots and things like that, it's like all of these stories matter at the end of the day.
There's definitely a story within the story. And shout out to Daily for creating, you know, that creation, that program that you guys are putting together. Because again, I say it all the time, you just mentioned something that's very significant. You know, needing that team, needing that group of individuals to help you go next level or help you, you know, not be taken advantage of or give you the resources to not be nickel and dime and being, you know, truly, you know, paid for your worth. And again, you can go fast by yourself, but you can go way further with a team. And so shout out to the Daily for helping you, for y'all putting together teams for these individuals and these creators in this creative space.
Okay, so that goes back to you. How did you select the team that was going to go to Lorraine Hotel to capture these iconic moments and build out this vision with you? Like, what was your selection process in curating your team?
Man, it's so organic, Sky.
Yeah.
You know, I can't even lie to you. I'm blessed because my team is a mixture of, you know, friends that I already had. Yeah. Creators that I met along the way. People who share my same vision. And, you know, we all just came together and we all understood the ultimate purpose and the goal is to just, you know, capture great content and make great stories. So, you know, I wouldn't say I even had a process. Mine was God-given. I can't even take credit for anything, how it came together for me to be blessed with such an amazing team I got to work with. You know, even now when it came to filming the project, you know, my core production, the people I work with all the time. Yeah. You know, so.
And shout out to the team. Y'all did that. Sure, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait.
Yeah, team from Fran and makeup to Yo-Yo and hair to Naya and wardrobe to Misha, BTS to John behind the camera to Mark on sound to Adrian for sound, you know, dialect coaching to, you know, again, the list goes on and on. There's some amazing individuals that I work with. I'm super blessed to have in my life. And I just love how they just come through from the time. So I'm super blessed for that. So I can't take no credit for like really coming up with a systematic way. Like, oh, I'm gonna use this person. I reached out to people who I knew care about me and that I care about and make a movie. And that's how it went, for sure.
Okay, so you said you hand wrote your script. Yeah. How many pages did you write? Like,
it was a lot of writing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of writing, you know. The script pretty big, it was pretty long, but it was a lot of writing, you know. But
how many drafts did you make?
Like two. Okay. Two to three.
First of all, that's the expertise right there. Yeah. Like 2 to 3 drafts is not that many in terms of you thinking of a full level script that's handwritten.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a lot of, but it was a lot of, you know, research. Yeah.
How long did it take you to research it?
Like 2.5 years. Okay. Yeah, it's time spent. It wasn't just overnight.
What was your research process? You said you went to all the public domains.
Yeah, you know, of course, you know, shout out to the internet. Start with the internet, but from the internet, you know, I will go to the Congressional Library. From the Congressional Library, I go to the South African Embassy. From the South African Embassy, you know, back in my home, ordering books off of Amazon, a lot of MLK books written by author William F. Pepper. Ended up even finding William F. Pepper. So William F. Pepper was the king's attorney and James Earl Ray's attorney. And he devoted his life to kind of tell the story, like how James Earl Ray was just a fall guy. This man wasn't the trigger man, and the kings definitely taken advantage of by a higher conspiracy, not just some regular petty car thief. And so I got to work with him, personally on the phone, getting information. And what I liked about William F. Pepper, even though this man like in his 80s, when he talked about the King assassination in those moments in time, he talked about it like it happened yesterday. But if I was asking what he had for lunch yesterday, he probably wouldn't even be able to tell me. But when it came to like just giving me insight on like what happened on the King moments, he was just like, well, this happened and this is why it happened. And this was found here in the car. And I was just, so I was blessed to have that. And then I found the article that was one of the only articles that was written about Joseph, the photographer. Yeah. When I found that article, I found the guy who wrote it. Dang, don't quote me on his name right now. I feel bad that I'm even going blank on his name. And I can call him right now, but I did some research, looked for him. Yeah. He retired, but somebody from the newspaper editor got me in touch with him. Finally got in contact with him. He got me in contact with Jacob, Joseph's son. Yeah. And that's how I was able to meet Jacob. So again, it was a lot of research. Like, it wasn't like just knock on the door and just open a page on the internet. It was there. I had to go do some thorough due diligence in making this happen.
Absolutely. Okay. So first, what was the first spark that led you to this story? Like, what even led you to find out about Joseph? Like, I'm sure, everybody's seen this picture every Black History Month for years and years as they do their Black History Month research and their papers in school. But, like, what really sparked that moment for you that was like, maybe I'm going to write a film about this? Let me check for questions. I'm listening up.
What sparked that interest? So I was in, me and the team were headed down to Austin for South by Southwest, music festival, South by Southwest. Yeah. And we stopped in Memphis because we did a road trip. And we stopped in Memphis at the 99-cent soul food restaurant in Memphis. I don't know if it's still there, but shout out to the 99-cent soul food in Memphis. And the owner was there, great guy. And he mentioned to me, he was like, hey, have you had a chance to check out the King assassination memorial? And I'm like, no. He's like, well, it's 900 feet away. Wow. And so my operations guy moved from his vote, Amir Baker. We got up, I told Amir to come with me. Walked around the corner, there it was, the Lane Motel, and I remember just stopping and being so fascinated, looking at it. And the first thing I did, I pointed, because that's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw the Lorraine Motel was that picture. Wow. And like pointing. And then I'm like, who took that picture? And that's and from there, it was a snowball effect. And now we're here talking about the shot because it started from that moment, just seeing Lorraine and just being fascinated.
Okay, that's iconic. Hold on. Okay, so Ayana said, was it challenging getting the South African Embassy support when researching the film? How did you establish that connection?
It wasn't even challenging. I can't even lie to South African Embassy. Like initially, even when I brought them the project and the story, they was just more so like, of course, they're like, wow, somebody from our own turf, our own land, is a part of such historical American, history and moment. And so they were first just being jaw dropped, like, what? South Africa took it? From there, to the point they even offered like, hey, when the project's done, they'll set up a premiere at the embassy for me. So,
I can't wait. Yeah. Okay, that's gonna be iconic. Okay.
Yeah, so shout out to the African Embassy. For sure. They show love.
Wow, that's iconic. Like, wow. Okay, so we're gonna get to it, but when does the film premiere?
We don't have any selected dates yet because again, I'm still working on some of my direct cuts and finalizing the project. But I mean, of course, when we're ready to premiere, the day they're gonna be the first person I call. It's kind of hey, look, this is the premiere. This is when it's happening. This is where it's happening. It's gonna be several premieres because several different screenings in different areas. But definitely make sure.
All right, we want to do a red carpet. That's all we got.
No, that for sure. Daily there.
So a little bit about our backstory. It's funny enough, I met Amir on the train.
Okay.
So I met Amir on the train, and from there we started talking about different projects, different things. And at that time I was modeling.
Okay.
And he was working with someone named Buck.
Okay.
And he was like, me and Buck are doing something, and they were doing it at this space that's in Southeast, and that space is, I believe, called the Hive.
Okay.
And the Hive is essentially like a co-working space.
Yeah.
Where it's like people can apply, have an office there. And I had never been there before. Right. I grew up uptown. If you're from DC, you know uptown and Southeast, they completely different. And it's like you live in a whole different state. Sure. So it's like, all right, I don't go there unless I really got to. Right. But Amir told me to come. I want to model. This is going on. Go there. And then from there, years later, Amir introducing me to the project and coming on to work with you guys on social media. Mind you, this is circa like 2 to 3 years ago, doing their social media, working with them on it. And that's when they first was working on the shot. Like, you know, so this project, like to have been embedded in the social media of it and like going through and editing the behind the scenes and the footage and the stuff like that, to now being able to like interview on a different level and really be a part of the campaign of it, it was like, it's Black History Month. We got to do something for the shot. Like, no way. I was like, you guys should be on the news right now. Like, y'all should be everywhere. Like, this should be the poster story. Like, it was just like, we have to do something for it. Like,
thank you.
Of course. But it was just like, the story of it in general, it really just, it moved me. And I would say what also moved me about it was I had a conversation with my grandparents. And my grandparents were telling me about they were there at the speech.
Okay.
At his I Had a Dream speech.
For sure.
And they were talking about the energy that this man had. And they was like, you met a man that can move mountains.
Until you heard Dr. King speak.
Literally. Yeah. And they're standing outside and at this point, you know, they're in their 60s, you know, they had us and all, you know, all the grandkids and stuff like that. And I'm their first kid of my dad's side. Okay. So it's like, they was like, you've never heard a man move mountains like that. And to be in this crowd of people and to find out that Dr. King was coming up to do this speech, one, what Black man gets to do a speech here, like in general, like just pro laws, all the things, like
especially with that, even on that playing field, you know, right there in the National Mall,
And it's like, to be at this level now in 2025, like even in being able to have this type of event, like we've come so far. Like they didn't want us to have nothing, like absolutely nothing. Like we weren't able to drink the same water. We weren't able to go to the pool. We weren't able to like do much of things. Right. So to be in a high rise in a nice neighborhood and like, you know, really be able to talk about a film that you produced and went to South Africa and went and did this, it's just like, we are literally our ancestors' dreams. Like they imagined us being able to do this. Like he fought and spoke and did all of these things in order for us to literally just sit here and be Black and proud and just be Black excellence. Like we weren't allowed to just be great and be us. So it's just the impact of someone from South Africa doing the diaspora, coming over here, shooting this shot for you to create the film. Like, I'm sorry to keep going back through the circle of it, but it's just like, guys, the impact of that when we weren't allowed, like,
it's mind-boggling.
We came so far, like, you know, it's just like, wow, like.
We definitely have made strides, you know, and again, just to piggyback off what you said, you know, shout out to, you know, the trailblazers like your grandparents. And, you know, from the people who we don't know their names to the people who names we do know, again, if it wasn't for them, you know, like you said, we wouldn't have a lot of opportunities that we have today. And it is up for us, as, like you said, their dreams, to continue that dream and to continue to push forth. And so, I'm definitely blessed and just as excited as you are about that.
Yeah. I'm super excited because I'm just
sure.
super excited for your vision to get seen. Okay, so walk me through the screening. What was that like? What was the energy there? I know, like, you know, you had it in Anacostia Library.
I was at Anacostia.
Okay, so what was your process in choosing Anacostia Library and putting together that screening of it?
Yeah, I can, again, something I'm not going to take credit for because it was offered to me by Rhonda Hamilton, the 2026 DC mayor candidate. She's a very advocate, community activist. You know, she pushed for everything for DC. She stands behind DC a lot. You know, she loves DC DMV in its entirety. You know, Rhonda really works hard to, you know, be with the people, and you know, we worked on some stuff collectively on other projects, and she found out about the shot and was like, Trey, like you said, she like, the people must know about this.
Yeah.
And it's like, and again, it's not that the people are not going to know about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's more so, you know, it has to get done. You know, I'm big on let's get it done first, and then we can, you know,
promote it.
Yeah, promote it and put it up to people. But you know, like I mentioned in the past, I've literally went on media tours for the shot even before a trailer was made, or even just even before the script was complete, just because, you know, people just thought the synopsis, just the ideal of it was like, whoa, this is insane. You know, people, you know, so yeah, so that's how the screening / Q&A came about. Dr. Hamilton, you know, reached out and was like, hey, Trey, I think I have a great idea of how we can like really promote and get this into the community. And so, because I appreciated her so much for doing that, you know, I decided to show like several director cut scenes to the individuals, and so they got to be the first people outside of my eyes and my editing group eyes to see some of the project, and the emotions were there. People were crying, laughing, talking, and just to see people responding to the scenes, it was everything. Because again, like blood, sweat, and tears were put into this project, you know.
Did that give you like a focus group type of energy?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because even, you know, the questions that came behind gave me something to really hone in on when I go back into the end to complete the project.
What type of questions did you get?
All type of questions, from, you know, again, as you mentioned earlier, the inspiration behind the project, to like how to, you know, take on all these amazing characters, you know, because again, it wasn't just me on the Q&A panel. It was several other of my actors, Coretta Scott King, Dr. King, Pamela, Joseph interest, and you know, like, and everybody was just so impressed with like my actors and, you know, how they embodied the character. So, you know, those questions, how the social movement then is relatable to the social movements that are going on today. It was a lot of questions that, like you said, definitely gave me a focus group type of atmosphere, where it's like, oh, okay, I can use this, you know, to better perfect how I'm gonna lay down these scenes in the editing room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so when it came down to your casting, what was it about the artists that really cultivated that they gotta be this person, they gotta be that person?
And again, somebody, you know, V, shout out to V Thomas, that's my casting director. V's just amazing with just understanding my vision. So I would sit down with V and we would talk each character thoroughly. And this is what I'm looking for this person. This is what I'm looking for that person. And she would to vet these individuals through our huge acting database. If you want to be in a movie, please join the Movie Festival, you know, Actors Database. You know, you end up with a project. But and then from there, she just like, Trey, she'll give me options of each character. And of course, you know, we have auditions, casting calls, and we, you know, let them read. And then, you know, collectively, her and I be like, ooh, this person is. And what I like about V, because it's like, we can just look at each other and like, ooh, she already know what's on my mind, and I know what's on her mind, and that's how we was able to pick such an amazing cast.
We love good kindred spirits.
For sure.
Absolutely. Okay.
And kindred spirits is everything, you know, like don't go against the energy, don't go against your feelings. Your gut usually tells you everything you need to know, but we sometimes want to go with what's in our mind and our plans. But man, somebody just told me, you know, God have a way of laughing at your plans, so planning is good, but don't try to stick to them.
God really does.
Yeah, God laugh at your plans because, God has an ultimate purpose overall, and if it don't match the ultimate purpose, I'm sorry, your plans ain't gonna fall through.
Absolutely.
So.
That's a good note. Okay, so I know you had some core key community engagement questions. What were those questions, and how did you feel that the community responded to them?
Yeah, like one key, core community question was, as a filmmaker, as a film company owner, like, what do I do to get the community and the youth involved? So I had to, share some of our programs that we do have at Moon Films Devoted, and in the essence of, we mentor programs, and we go into the inner city and we put cameras in the hand, individuals who probably don't have access to some type of resources.
Yeah.
And we get an opportunity like, hey, show your creative side, when I coming up certain communities in certain areas, it was only two people that usually had all the money, and it was either the athlete or, maybe the rapper.
Absolutely.
We ain't gonna, I guess if you want to talk to the third person that's inconspicuous, probably the drug dealer. So in certain areas, and especially in our communities, those are probably the only three people we see with some money. Like I said, a rapper, an athlete, or a drug dealer. So to be able to go into these communities and put cameras in their hand, and now they own another profession, like, ooh, I can be a director. Yeah. I can be a camera videographer or a cameraman. I could be a content creator, and to kids who don't probably even know that, outside of like three usual, money makers in our community. So that's probably the best thing ever when it came to, just talking that community.
What was the best story that you saw from one of your mentees? Because essentially in putting a camera in their hand, you gave them the platform to showcase their visions and like what they were really going through inside.
Yeah, one of my best stories from mentees. Well, one of my favorite stories, one of my mentees not necessarily even have anything to do with the camera that was put in his hand, even though Lorenzo don't definitely held the camera too. But I was in Chicago getting ready for an event, and he called me. He was like, Trey, I have a dilemma. I'm like, what's up? What's your dilemma? He like, should I go to school today? Or my boss called me and said if I come in and work, I can make $200, but should I go to school today? I'm an advocate of like pushing like education, like trust me, like, knowledge is so powerful. Yeah. But me knowing his economical structure and his background, and knowing how like he plays a huge vital role in his family life, helping his mother and his many siblings. I was stuck because I didn't know how to tell him. Like, he's like, do I go to school today, or do I miss school and go get $200? Because I think at the time he was just moving furniture like that, and I sat on the phone with him for a second because I understand the value of a dollar and how it can help, but I also understand the value of education. And ultimately, I was like, go to school for me, and because he went, I zelled him the money, on some like just, and I respected him so much because you can tell he was really torn. But what I respected him so much because again, I guess he was. Sometimes you don't think they be listening, but these kids be listening. I'm always like, bro, Jenny, go to school. You can go to school. You can do this. You can do that. That's, I went to Howard University, and so I guess he was listening. And so, like I said, I zelled the money, but he went to school there. So yeah, that's one of my most impactful stories. But like I said, I definitely shot with him and done some creative stuff with him in his neighborhood in Northwest. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Shout out to Lorenzo.
You're a real one for hero.
But yeah, shout out to Lorenzo. We're currently, trying to, help him get out of a situation that's really deeper than deep right now. Yeah. But sometimes you can be a product of your environment, and Kendrick, the best one, I guess his first album, Good Kid, Mad City. So it'd be like that. So. Yeah.
Wow. It's like sometimes you just gotta sit in these moments because it's like, wow,
Get deep.
Yeah, it do.
You gotta let you gotta bask in it, but.
Okay. How did you see yourself in the shot? How did you even in film in general, how do you put yourself into these stories? Because I know sometimes you act as well too.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like see yourself in it, but also see yourself out of it? Because as an actor, it's like you're playing you, you're playing a different person, but yet you envisioned yourself in a specific role.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when I take on any project, whether I'm in front of the camera or behind the camera, I'm gonna embody my soul in it solely because I am playing usually a significant role. And again, there's not really, I'll take that back because it's not even, just because you're the director doesn't, you know, yes, that's a very premium role, but you can be a production assistant. You know, you still can put your heart and soul into it, you know, and take it on with all you got. So, and that's what I'm a filmmaker in general. So whether in front of the camera or behind the camera, I'm gonna put my all into it. And when it comes to acting, you know, taking on a character, I learned that character to the best of my ability, to what's all I've given, to know as much as about this character. And then I talk to Trey, I talk to my inner self, and how would I be that character? You know, what does Trey look like being a doctor if I'm playing a doctor? What does Trey look like being a lawyer? What would Trey look like being a father, or, you know, or the villain? You know, whatever the role may be, I try to incorporate myself into that role as much as possible. I embody it, and then I just go for it. And then on the opposite side, where, like I said, I'm behind the camera, you know, as a doctor, as a producer, as a filmmaker, as a screenwriter, what am I looking for when these visions or when these thoughts come to my mind, and I constantly aim at achieving and obtaining that. So yeah, that's how that process goes.
It's like, I don't know if they can feel the energy, but it's just like, it's an energy that's like, even when you finish speaking, it's just, you gotta sit with it and you really have to digest it. I feel like you say things in ways that are digestible, but it's also an energy about it that's just very calm and very, this was God led, this was God centered. And that fuels your vision, how you move forward in it.
And, you know, it's because it's organic and it's genuine and it's honest.
Absolutely.
When you mix those three things together, you can't help but to take it in. Okay, who you are, what you are, where from, where you're going. You're dealing with something that's real, not plagiarized, organic. All has been given. I mean, you can't help but to like, damn, I gotta take this in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. As a director, do you feel that your vision has been achieved in your? Not yet.
No.
Why not?
Because it's so much. There's so far to go. Yeah, like I'm, you know, even a decade in.
Yeah.
I'm still like, there's so much to do, but I enjoy it. So you know, it's always a learning opportunity out there to hone it. You know, and what I like about this, I can do this until my deathbed. That's what I enjoy the most about my career. You know, it's something I can do for a long time, and I can always get better at it. And I'm constantly reading and discussing these matters, creators like myself, to get better. So now I'm far from where I feel like I can be. But I'm gonna get there.
So you were featured at the White House. So one, how did that opportunity come about? Two, what would you say is your highest accolade or achievement that you've reached so far?
Well, that was Secretary of State that I shot something at not too long ago, and then working with an independent production company was definitely love. So Ruben. So shout out Secretary of State and administration. But my highest, I guess, I've been congressionally honored for a documentary. You know, I mean, I won, you know, some stuff in some film festivals, but I guess the congressional honor has been like the biggest for me personally because, like I said, it's something that's so organic to go over and document what happened to, you know, the victims in the Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Marie incident in Virgin Islands. You know, just to document it and just tell those people's story and give it to the people. So, you know, that was, you know, I got congressional honor for it, but yeah, you know, I appreciate how that came about. So, yeah.
Okay. Something I know about you personally is that essentially you bring your kids along with you.
For sure.
And you've built their resumes in the work that you've done.
Yeah.
And how has that impacted you as a dad, and how has that impacted how they see you and how they work and their work ethic? And I'm gonna check for questions.
No, for sure. Hey, shout out to Nia and Nor, you know, those my babies. You know, when your children see what you do, they listen, they look, they follow.
Yeah.
So you gotta, you know, definitely lead them in the right direction, and that's what I try to do. You know, they don't necessarily have to do anything in the film industry. You know, honestly, they already going. You know, they do it themselves, which I find interesting. Like my youngest, she loves grabbing the camera, and she loves shooting, but she actually has an eye.
Yeah.
She'll show me pictures she just took of. You know, I'm like, dang, no, that's cool. And then she's a writer.
Yeah.
She be writing stories. She's like, Dad, you like this script? You know, so. And again, and it's organic. It's nothing, I don't make them just because I do it. You know, I do bring them the sets and show them like, okay, well, this is what Dad does, and this is how we take care of our unit and help others take care of their units. But, you know, this is what Dad loves to do. But they organically have just picked it up and came aboard. But like I said, incorporating your kids into anything that you may find interesting and passionate about is one thing is good for just creating a bond with your child. You know, I don't care what it is. Like I said, I happen to be a filmmaker, and so yeah. But again, you can be you can work at a dentist office, a dental assistant. You can be a nurse. You can be a custodian. You can be a teacher. You can be a lawyer. You don't necessarily have to do things in the industries with your kids, but just finding something that you probably genuinely like to do as a hobby and just incorporate kids. And trust me, you can just open up their minds to so much out there. And I do that with my daughters. It's not even just in filmmaking. I do a lot of stuff with them to show them like, hey, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
And because of that, I watch how they maneuver with other kids, and they have some very strong leadership qualities about themselves, but it's installed in them to like show love to everybody. We don't judge nobody.
Yeah.
We're gonna have fun. We're gonna make it happen.
So our backstory on that was we were working on a music video, and so it's funny because I actually posted about one of my mentors today, but I started helping him produce shows at Tacoma Station Tavern, and literally was just like always in his space, like just helping. Like when it came down to it, like we mastered producing the shows once I started in 4 weeks, and just like,
for sure. And
that's how I really learned. For me, I like to help build and recreate systems.
For sure. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and it's like taking somebody's system, okay, this could be reworked, this could be reworked, all right, boom. But it's like, and being in that production, it was a music video for one of the friends that was in the circle, and I was just there to be there. Like, it's so funny. Like,
that's usually how it goes. I mean, I love organic like that. You know, it starts from just small entity and it grows over here.
But it's like, I was there to help out with the shoot, you know, be in certain scenes and, you know, do different things. And then I end up grabbing to the kids. Like, but that's just me in general, because I'm a big kid and I love the girls.
Yeah,
so it was just like, as we got into it, next thing I know, it's like, okay, come on, like, where you going? Da, 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 da. But it was just such a natural and organic moment, and to watch them grow into themselves from being babies at the time, like literally. And when I tell you, the smartest, like, they are just awesome. It comes down to different things and how they think and how they explore. So it's just like, I can only imagine what their art and their creativity is going to grow into.
Yeah, for sure.
Just being able to learn how to express themselves so well, so young.
And you have to let a child express themselves and embrace them. You know, one thing I don't necessarily agree on with some parenting is, telling the child what they can't do, or where they can't go, or you can't be, you can't do that. Yes, they can, astronaut, surgeon, archaeologist, this goes on and on. Like, they can do it, and just because we may not had the opportunity to do it or knew how to do it, or our parents know how to do it, or our parents, so on and so on, that doesn't mean like they can't do it. So, the ideal is to embrace the future and push them forward. Like, man, whatever my daughters say they want to do, I try to embrace it, as long as, like I said, if it's morally intact and something that makes them happy, who am I to say no to it,
Yeah.
So
when I was their age, I wanted to be a singing nurse ballerina.
What
did you want to be?
It's interesting. I was never a child that always talked about what I wanted to be. Like, I didn't. I ain't never said I wanted to be this, I wanted to be that. I can't even tell you.
Well, what did you imagine? Like, what was your, like, I wake up at 7 and I'm like...
I don't know. I wanted to hang out with Michael Jordan in Space Jam.
Okay, that's fair.
I used to love the movie Malcolm X when I was young. I wanted to hang out with Denzel Washington, So, old Malcolm X, for sure. So, as a child, I wanted to hang out with my friends and go outside, ride my bike, play tag or go knock Zoom, be mischief in the neighborhood. I was active.
What would you tell your younger self now that you're reaching these milestones and you're getting to the point where you're nurturing that younger self and your kids?
Right.
What would you then give that back?
What would I tell my younger self? Brace yourself. It's about to be one hell of a ride. That's what I tell my younger self for sure. Yeah. I tell myself to just brace myself. It's about to be one hell of a ride. You're right. Whatever you're thinking right now, it's okay. It's all right. It may feel different because I always felt like I thought different than my peers, and I moved different, and it probably shows in my life today. But it's all right. It's all right to think different. It's all right to move different.
Yeah.
It's all right to have your own thoughts. There's nothing wrong with that, even if they don't necessarily are compatible to the majority. We all have a different thumbprint, even twins, people who are born together with siblings out of the same, at the same time out of a womb. We still have different thumbprints, and there's a reason for that. So it's okay to like think the way you think, the way you move. Like I said, if it's just morally intact and it's for the better of you and your people, go for it.
Okay. What message would you leave the people with as we close out?
Continue to follow the daily. Because the daily bringing you the daily bread.
No, for real. We start with morning motivation,
For sure. But you only get one life to live.
Yeah.
Live it. You find love it. Find happiness, stay happy. And do what makes you happy.
I got a side question. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, side question.
You said that Pamela was Joseph's love interest. What role did Pamela play in helping Joseph achieve where he got to? And was she in Africa or was she
Africa?
Okay, gotcha. All right. Did he have a love interest in America when he got out here?
Yeah, he did. I'm gonna say that for the movie. When y'all see the movie, for sure. But Pamela, I can speak on Pamela. I feel personally, I feel like, get your heart broke. Sometimes, unfortunately, it can go two ways when you get your heart broke. Sometimes people get very motivated and go in overdrive mode. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna become this. Some people forever live with that heartbreak. I think Joseph was the opposite. Like, he realized that he couldn't be with this woman that he really loved, so he went extremely hard at what he did as a profession with photography, and that landed him in a position to work with Dr. King. And so I say Pamela helped him in that direction. Like, she probably gave him that fuel to like really go for it. So because she walked away from him. So, but again, like I said, love can be a very powerful drug. So like I said, sometimes it can make you bounce back and be the even better version of yourself. Or, unfortunately, sometimes it can put you down.
All right. Give people your final notes on the shot.
hey, stay tuned. The shot is coming soon. If you like good movies, if you like good stories, great acting, great cinematography, please hold your breath. Don't hold your breath too long. I ain't gonna make you hold your breath too long, but hold your breath because the shot is coming your way.
Give them the Instagram, give them the website. Where can they find it?
Yeah. So right now you can keep up with the process of what we're doing at Moonk Films Devoted. That's all related to the shot and projects that we're currently working on as well at Moonk Films Devoted. That's MOONK Films FILMS Devoted DEVOTED.com. So that's Moonk Films Devoted.com, or you can go to the IG at Moonk. That's MOONK_devoted DEVOTED. That's the Instagram handle. And from both of those, sites, you can find out a lot about what's going on at Moonk Films Devoted.
Also, look out for the Devoted Van near you.
Yeah. If you see the Devoted Van, just hashtag us and we'll do something special for you. We do that for everybody who hashtag the Devoted Van because it maneuvers through the city quite often.
Awesome.
Sure.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Dave.
And make sure you follow the DMV Daily. Make sure y'all subscribe if y'all on here. Okay, they said amazing story. Can't wait to see. Okay, we got the people excited. We love it.
Thank you, people.
If you guys didn't get a chance to watch our full session, it will be available at the DMVDaily.com. There will also be a follow-up article about it just to give you guys more of the story. And we're going to stay tuned and we're going to keep up with the story as he goes about launching and dropping the premiere of the shot. So I'm super excited to have you guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, D.
This is the DMV Daily.